Look around any coffee shop today, and you'll see people waiting for lattes in gear engineered for sub-zero survival. We've seen a massive migration of equipment from the wilderness to the pavement, specifically climbing fleeces, trail running shoes, and heavy-duty expedition shells. This transition happened so gradually that most people barely noticed it. But today, some of the world's most influential fashion aesthetics are built entirely around clothing designed for storms, snow, and extreme environments. We has become obsessed with dressing like explorers. We've turned garments built for raw survival into a standard urban uniform, prioritizing the aesthetic of the mountain even when we're miles from the nearest trail. For most of the 20th century, outdoor clothing existed in an isolated world. It was a niche category, designed for a specific purpose and viewed as deeply unfashionable by the mainstream. The design prioritized pure function. This resulted in bulky, heavy fabrics and bright safety colors that looked practical on a ridge but awkward in a city. That started to change in the 1970s and 80s. Extreme mountaineering and high-altitude sports pushed brands toward aggressive innovation, leading to the development of sophisticated fabric systems. These companies weren't trying to be trendy, they were engineering survival tools. But as our world became faster and more unpredictable, those tools began to offer a new kind of psychological urban armor. One of the biggest turning points occurred in 1990s New York City, where urban street culture unexpectedly adopted high-altitude gear. Rappers and streetwear communities began wearing brands like the North Face and Timberland, integrating technical expedition pieces into a new kind of daily uniform. There was a practical foundation. In the freezing, wind-whipped canyons of Manhattan, a jacket built for the Himalayas genuinely worked better than traditional coats. But it was also about the message. These garments were expensive, durable, and looked serious. They became symbols of street authenticity and survival in a harsh urban landscape. This cultural adoption permanently shifted the puffer jacket's identity, moving it from a niche tool for climbers to a foundational icon of global style. While New York was defining the puffer street cred, designers in Japan were refining the technical aesthetic even further. Japanese designers viewed outdoor gear through the lens of precise craftsmanship. They focused on technical details, not just for survival, but as high-level functional design. Brands like Visvim and Nanamika began blending rugged, high-performance materials with sleek, minimalist fashion, proving that a waterproof shell could look sophisticated. This refinement helped technical gear become aspirational. It erased the line between performance clothing and luxury fashion, making the engineered look a global trend. Treating a jacket more like a piece of authenticated hardware. This diagram shows the logic behind the Gore-Tex membrane. It blocks large rain droplets while allowing tiny vapor molecules to escape. Terms like taped seams and thermal insulation became the new vocabulary of luxury, replacing fashion descriptions with engineering language. Wearing these complex, authenticated technologies proved the wearer's cultural credibility. It suggested they were choosing gear based on its real-world performance, regardless of where they actually wore it. In the 2010s, the explosion of urban climbing gyms brought a new aesthetic of mobility and minimal fleece directly into the center of the city. The COVID-19 pandemic acted as the final accelerant. As people prioritized comfort and outdoor escape, functional fabrics and weather-resistant layers became the logical replacement for rigid office wear. Modern city living demands mobility and weather resistance. Because we face rain, wind, and long commutes, we have started treating the urban environment with the same technical rigor as the wilderness. There is a specific feeling attached to technical clothing. It inherently suggests capability, adaptability, and the physical resilience required to move through a difficult landscape. That sense of readiness is becoming more attractive as the world feels more unstable. We are facing a baseline of modern anxieties, from the abstract stress of digital overload to the very real pressures of economic and climate change. In that context, a waterproof shell provides emotional reassurance. It is a physical garment that psychologically communicates, "I am prepared," against a world that feels increasingly chaotic. Consumers are looking for something grounded and physical, a connection to nature and movement that feels real, even if their lives are spent mostly indoors. Outdoor gear escaped the mountains because people wanted to feel ready for adventure again. We wear these technical layers to find the emotional resilience needed.
For more content like this, like and subscribe to our channel.